Fine
So
and
you
crude.
can distinguish fine and crude touch in two ways. One way is that when the touching material is something very soft, like a piece of cotton or a tissue paper or a piece of cloth like this, you can say it is a fine touch. But when the touching material is something rough, like a piece of cloth,
Piece of shit.
a piece of or a key or something like this, then it will be called a crude touch. But there is another way to distinguish fine and crude. And that way is when the touch is very much localized. You can say confirmly that the touch is here, only in this area. It means it is a fine touch. But when you cannot localize it particularly, you say somewhere here in this area, all this area I feel touching. Not I can say here or here or here, but in all this area. This you can say it is a crude touch. So you can differentiate between fine and crude touch in two ways. Number one, depending upon the touching material, and number two, depending upon that whether it is accurately localized or not. Okay? So let's see. Close your eyes. Okay, now open your eyes. You touched at three places. Now, we have to ask a few questions from the patient. This was first part. Second part is to ask a few questions. What questions? First ask him, did you feel something? Don't say, do you feel touch? No. Don't give him a clue. Just ask him, did you feel something? The answer is yes. But now we have to confirm that he is telling the truth. How? Ask second question. Can you locate that where I touch you?
Here,
Okay.
here,
Okay. Very good. It means that the patient is actually feeling the touch. That's why he locates the area properly as well. Now, third question is about the quality of the touch. Can you tell us what was the quality? Crude or fine, or you can locate it precisely or not?
by long لما بيكون حد معين كان الخط it's good.
Crude touch. Okay. Again, close your eyes.
طله مشرف.
Okay. Now tell us. Very good. Now this time, what was the quality?
Fine.
Far.
Because it's localized. No,
Localized and also feeling is very soft. So in this way, it is not only that you have to touch at different places, but also you have to confirm the answer of the patient by asking a few questions. Now let's see. We come to know that he can localize the touch. But how much accurate is he in localizing it? We will do it by measurement of error of localization. For this purpose, we will need two markers. One marker we will give to the patient. One marker will be in the hand of the examiner. The examiner will mark some points on different parts of body of the patient, and the patient then has to mark the same areas with the eyes closed only by feeling. And then we will see how much accurate is he. Okay? Understand? Right. Now close your eyes. Now mark.
No?
Yeah. Okay. Now. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay, open your eyes. Now, after the marking, we have to use two other things. One, a measuring scale, and one is this instrument called divider with two pins, or you call it Arabic furjar.
فرجار.
So you have to use this. With the help of this instrument,
نحطها دي.
we will measure how much is the error between the two marks and measure it on the scale. 1.5. Point 7 and 1. So 1.5 and 1, 2.5 and 0.7, 3.2. 3.2 centimeters is the total error, and we mark at 3 places. So to take an average, divided by 3. So 3.2 divided by 3, it is somewhat 1.1, you can say. So 1.1 centimeter is the average error of tactile localization. So this is very small error.
Divided into 3.
Divided by 3, because 3 sides you mark. If you mark 5 sides, divide by 5. You take an average. There is no normal range, but there is a principle that the smaller the average error, it means the more accurate is the patient's ability. So 1.1 centimeter is very small. So that's why you can say that the patient is not only able to localize the touch sensation, but also to a perfect extent.
ما شاء الله.
Yeah. Error. This procedure is
Measure.
to find out measure the error in localization.
Doctor, when you say this patient
When it is large enough. When you examine more and more patients, you will got in your mind an average. That in a normal person, average error is 1, 1.5, 1.3, 1.2, like this. So any patient you find it is 2 centimeter or 4 centimeter or 5 centimeter, you can easily say that compared to the average, he has a bigger error. So it means some problem. Okay? Now come to another point, 2-point discrimination. First understand what is 2-point discrimination. Discrimination means to differentiate. And 2-point discrimination means when two stimuli are applied at a time, the patient is able to feel it 2 or 1. Listen again. When you apply 2 stimuli at a time, patient is not seeing you, his eyes are closed. You are applying 2 stimuli. But when you ask him, what is his answer? He say, I feel 2 stimulation, or he say, I feel 1 stimulation. So this differentiation, this is called 2-point discrimination. And why this is? You are applying 2 stimuli, then why the patient will say that I feel 1? Because this answer, 1 or 2 stimuli, it depends upon the number of receptors in a particular area. If in an area large number of receptors are there, it means that the distance between 2 receptors will be very small. And therefore, at a very small distance, when you apply 2 stimuli, the patient will detect them as 2. Because 2 separate receptors are stimulated. But in those areas where receptors are few, it means that the distance between 2 receptors is large. And therefore, until and unless you keep on stimulating in a small area 2 times, 3 times, he will always feel 1. But when you increase your distance, then he will start feeling 2 or 3 separate. So this all depends upon the number of receptors in a particular area. Now to find out that distance of 2-point discrimination, what is this distance at different places, we will do this examination. And for this purpose, again we use this divider. First we will examine at the tip of the nose. What you have to do, that initially keep the fragile close so that the 2 pins are very close. And stimulate. And ask the patient what he feels. 1 stimulus or 2? If he say 1 stimulus, then you slightly increase the distance. Again stimulate. Again ask him. If he say 1, then further increase. Again stimulate. If he say 1, further increase. So keep on stimulating with increasing distance until and unless the patient say, now I feel 2. The distance at which he say, I feel 2, measure this distance, how much centimeters. This will be the distance of 2-point discrimination. Okay? So let's see. Start at the tip of the nose. You understand the procedure? 1 or 2?
1.
Okay. Okay.
شكله بيشوف دم هو عالتو.
Now at this distance, he says 2. He feel 2 stimulation. So let's see how much is this distance. This is 0.8 centimeters. 0.8 centimeters at the tip of the nose. If you repeat this procedure at the lips, it will be even smaller. Maybe 0.4, 0.5 centimeters, because lips are very sensitive area.
More receptive.
Yeah, more receptive. Nose also sensitive.
حريقة في الصداع.
That's why the distance is very small. Now repeat this procedure at some other area. For example, at the palmar surface of the hand. Okay, close your eyes. Okay.
الخرش.
This is 1.3 centimeters. So first at the tip of the nose it was 0.8. At the palmar surface of the hand it is 1.3. So why it is larger at the palmar surface?
This
It means the receptors are
Less.
less in this area compared to the nose. And if you repeat it at the heel of the foot, again it will be still larger area, maybe 2 centimeter or 1.7 centimeter like this.
How can I know we have something together?
Something?
Something together and the sensation of because if we don't have normal sensation.
In all these things, where you have no particular or no definite range,
ليش؟
you will get the idea of normal and abnormal after practicing it on large number of subjects or patients. When you keep on doing it and doing it and doing it at different persons, you will automatically get an idea, a range. That I examine 50 normal persons and at palmar surface it is somewhere between 1.5 and 1. I examine 50 normal subjects at nose, it is somewhere between 0.5 and 0.8. So you will automatically have an idea in your mind. So the moment the thing comes out of this range, your mind will click. Okay? For example, in second year, you examine the pulse. And in the pulse, the rate you can count. But what about the volume? Only your feeling. So this feeling is, the more the patients and the normal persons you keep on examining, you have an idea of this feeling. That what is the normal volume, what is less than this, what is more than this. Okay, now come to the thermal sensation first and then we go for adaptation. Thermal sensation very easy. You need 2 test tubes. In one take warm water, in another take cold water, and take a metallic rod. First dip the metallic rod in the warm water, take it out, remove the water from here. Now the rod is warm. Now with the patient's eyes closed, touch it at different places, different areas, and ask him about his feeling and about the location. If he say correctly that I feel something warm, I feel something warm in this area, this area, this area, it means that his temperature receptors are okay. Then repeat it with the cold water in the same. So very simple, very easy. Now come to the point of adaptation. 2 types of adaptation we have to check. Number 1, thermal adaptation, and number 2, adaptation for touch. For thermal adaptation, take 2 beakers. In one beaker, take warm water, and in other beaker take cold water. Put it in front of the patient and ask him to use these 2 fingers of right hand and these 2 fingers of the left hand. And ask him to dip these 2 in warm and these 2 in cold at a time and keep there. And you start your watch. Now keep on asking the patient from his feeling. Maybe for few seconds or 1 minute, he will say, I am feeling cold here, I am feeling warm here. And then after some time, he said that now my feeling disappears. I'm not feeling anything warm. This disappearance means adaptation.
تكيف.
So note down the time, that after how much time the receptors of temperature get adapted. Secondly, you also have to find out that which receptors adapted first, warm receptors or cold receptors. Maybe he keep on saying that I am no more feeling the warm, but still I am feeling the cold. So it means warm receptors adapted first, cold adapted later on. So first you have to find out the time period of adaptation for thermal receptors, and secondly that whether warm receptors adapted first or the cold receptors adapted first. This is how for adaptation. Secondly, for adaptation of the touch, you have to take some flat object, like this flat object, or better is to take some coins. Take these flat objects and ask the patient to close his eyes and extend his forearm. So eyes closed, arm extended. Now what you do, you put some material on the forearm. Can you feel something? Okay, when this feeling disappears, tell me. Now when this material will be continuously there, the feeling of something heavy here, it will become weaker and weaker and weaker, and finally it will be lost. So let's see in how much time it is lost. Lost means adapted.
سيطيح يدك.
لا لين يروح الاحساس انه في شيء على يده.
This sensation, not muscle fatigue. What happened to your feeling? Weaker, okay. So, okay, let's suppose that it disappears now. Now, what you will do when the patient says it disappears now? Now, what happened? It's heavy, it's increased, or he will start feeling it again. Why?
Because you increase the volume.
Because the stimulus is increased. So it means that whenever the receptors get adapted and the feeling is lost, how to make them feel again? By increasing the
stimulus.
strength or power of stimulus. So if you are applying 0.5 millivolt current to the frog muscle, and you repeatedly apply it, and finally the response is lost,
Make it stronger.
make it stronger. Make it 10 millivolt, 15 millivolt, 20 millivolt. It will again start responding. Very common example, that if you start touching a warm object, initially it will be uncomfortable for you. But if you keep on touching and touching and touching, after 10 times, 15 times, now you can hold it very comfortably. But if it is more warmer than this, then again you cannot touch it. So the same thing is here, that same stimulus applied repeatedly develop adaptation, but to feel it again, to respond it again, the stimulus strength has to be increased. So this is how touch adaptation, and previously it was temperature adaptation. Now let's come to the vibration sense. For the vibration sense, we will use this instrument called tuning fork. Tuning fork, F-O-R-K, tuning fork. The fork you use for eating, so it is shaped like a fork, so tuning fork. The tuning fork has two parts.
شوكة الرميل.
This is called the handle part, and these